You know, a while back I retired, and like a lot of old timers, you get to doing projects around the place. One thing leads to another, and next thing you know, you got a bunch of stuff that people keep telling you, you need to put that on YouTube. So I get to looking in on how to put things on YouTube, and I did a couple. Then I know some people make some money at it. Then there's a bunch of yahoos make themselves millionaires. So I've got some things here that I'm going to show you folks in a series over the next God knows how long, the rest of my life perhaps, about things that we've built here on our place for kids and that to play with. And I'm going to go through them little by little, make sure you understand if you want to build something in your yard or some project you got going on, hey, maybe we can help you out. There's one here that I've had here quite a while that we did quite a few years ago. And now this is our backyard zip line. The zip line zinger. We've got two of them here. Now let me explain to you. When you go to do a zip line, the first thing you want to make sure and incorporate is some good quality aircraft quality cable. This is 1/4 inch. I think it's good for like 1,400 or 1,200 pounds of tensile strength, so it's plenty good. I've had plenty of well-fed adults ride this thing. Now I've got another one over here, but let me show you how I make the carriages. This is, I think, if I remember right, my 3rd or 4th generation on this. The first one was that we used just a little bitty old shiv like you get at a hardware store. There's no lubrication to it or anything like that, and a pair of old handlebars. And the kid would jump off of the landing up there, and not every 8-year-old kid can hold her weight, but every 8-year-old kid damn sure wants to ride the zip line. Got it? So that's when we made this little device. And see, it swings. See, it swings back and forth, and there's the little rope is there so the child can get it back up by themselves. So here's how this works. So you get on eBay and you get your cable. You want to access much excess as you can. See, it killed that tree, but that's been there about 16 years. So okay, big deal on a tree, but you don't just want to go run it one time. You know, you want to wrap it twice. And whenever you're doing your cables, you never saddle a dead horse. This is the saddle part. You put that on the cable, then not the dead side, okay? And it's run there twice, so I put 2 of them up there the same way. Now I made this turnbuckle. Don't do that. Go buy one. They're not much money, okay? When you put the cable up, you want to put, as the old timers call it, enough slap in the line, or slack to anybody else, that when the kid gets down to a certain point, their heels, their butt's going to be hitting the ground, okay? You don't want it tight, because we made that mistake, and then the child came down the hill, came down the line here at just about the speed of sound and hit that turnbuckle just about 680 mile an hour. That wasn't well. And then you make this so it pivots. So when there is something of that device happens, I'll show you the ones even better yet. It swings, so there's no issues there. This one's pretty cool because it goes between the trees. That's really neat. Okay, so here's how you run the cable. You get these little shivs, these little cable shivs. You get these on eBay, and I've used them on many things. They're greasable needle bearings. Oprah, put down the baby rabbit. These are greasable needle bearings. You need that. Our first one, we started out with just an old junk ass pulley with no lubrication, like I said, and I had it rigged up with a handlebar on it. Well, and the kid dropped off the handlebar, and okay, no lawsuits, but we were going to have that. So then I went to the little bearing pulleys that you have in your garage door opener. Had a dozen or so kids here riding it. In 4 hours, they burnt the bearings out of it. Okay, there was 3 of them, three rollers. And here's how we do this. This cable comes through here, like this. Okay, there's another pulley here. It goes over here. You can see it inside that hole a little bit right there. And it goes back underneath this. Now if you notice, I've got holes here, extra holes drilled so that it's kind of self-braking. It doesn't let it just freewheel. If you just have it goes through here, okay, it's going to go way too friggin' fast, and that ain't good, because remember, there is a tree. So what you do is you have the cable come under this one, it's carrying the load, over that one, and back under this one carrying the load. What happens is it goes in here, just due to the weight and the stuff and all the extra friction and the bearings and the cable running back and forth. If you want to go slower, you put it up higher. It'll really slow it down. It'll still run. It'll be fine. Everything will go great. It just slows it down. I found that this one here is just about the median. It runs real good. Hey, when we have a shindig out back here, we go. I get a little grease gun. You throw a little grease in it, and everything runs real fine. Okay. So now this one we made a little bit better. This one here is about 110 feet long, I think. Now it's up there in that big tall landing. You can see the cable. I think you can see the cable coming up there. And again, we use the eBay cable shivs that are greasable. It's really important to get the greasable ones. Like I said, I've used the ones that are just for your garage door. They don't last. Really, they don't. They're not designed for this. And here again, you use a decent. This has been up here probably now about 8 years. I'm getting a little sketchy about the cable. It's not fraying at all. It's just that it's rusting in that. So I got to keep close on it. If it gets an issue, we'll get rid of it and get a new one. But see this one here now, we put the tire up here. This is just so people get an idea, you know, that they get a cushion, and we put the stop sign. Of course, you're gonna hit. But here, again, we didn't make the turnbuckle. See, we bought the turnbuckle around a tree, and again, it killed the tree. So there's just a note to self. You can get all of this cable and all this cable clamps. Those are stainless cable clamps and a galvanized turnbuckle, all on eBay. It's cheap. I mean, I don't have $60–70 maybe in both of these units with stuff that I bought off of eBay. 85 at the most, I don't know. Anyway, been a while. So this carriage, this one here turns out really well. So I used some box tube and welded it up, got some little gusseting here and that to give it strength. Pair of bicycle handlebars, remember the ones I told you about the kid fell off of, and an old pan seat. Now you can make that out of anything. And of course this one over here is just a pipe at the bottom, but the littler kids like that one, that's fine. And the adults and everybody loves this one here. Now when you go to build something like this, don't be intimidated by the fact that someone says you need to do some welding. Home Depot, Menards, Harbor Freight, I'm not doing a commercial, but all those types of stores, they all sell a wire feed welder. Go buy one. If you got a basement, if you got a trunk of your car, you can own one. You can do stuff. You can go buy some material and cut it with a 4-inch grinder, get the cutoff wheels. It's not an issue. Do some practicing. I taught myself how to do it. An 1/8-inch plate is more than sufficient. Heck, most vehicles' frames are made out of thinner material. And when you box things in and use some material that size, it is extremely strong. Okay? So you'll see the holes here. I kind of designed this a little differently. After I learned from the other one, you don't have to go up quite so drastic. So this one I went on an angle like this. So if I wanted more torque, I could go this way. And if I went up to this hole, it would of course slow it down. But this one here, but it works real well right on this one here. And of course, use these. We call them shaker bolts or locking nuts. Use those. So if you put a nut on there and you want it to swing, it's not going to work out well for you. Okay. So here we are. That's his backyard zip lines. Everybody loves zip lines. We've had 65-year-old people riding these zip lines back and forth down through here, and it's not very tall. I think that's about 11 feet or something like that, or 11.5 feet up there to the landing, and you get on. And this is like 110 feet long. And if you've got 2 good-sized trees and you can make a little landing of some sort, do it. I mean, if you want to do it longer, more power to you. But these work out real well. Give them a shot of grease once a year. Everything looks like a charm. So make a zip line in the backyard for your grandkids or the neighbor kids or whatever heck. And we got some other things here. There's the world's largest rocking horse. That's my claim to fame. I'll talk to you about that next time maybe, okay? Alright, so this is Catfish coming to you from the Reed Ranch. And on my way to being a millionaire. You guys are going to help me. So I guess I need to ask you to subscribe and tell all your friends and neighbors. Alright, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you in maybe a week or so or something like that. We'll put another one. Alright, bye. You leave the baby rabbit alone? Huh? Everybody's going to want to know why you got 3 legs. It's because you wouldn't stay in the yard, huh? Well, okay, stuff happens. Leave the babies alone.